welcome to CS1032, Information Systems and Design. In this video, I'll be giving a quick overview of the course, as well as diving into the course syllabus to give you an idea of how things are going to work. Computer Science 1032 is an introduction to information systems and the role played by these systems in business. You're currently taking this course as a distance studies or online course, which means that there's not going to be any set meeting times, and everything is going to be provided online. The main course content will be pre-recorded lectures and tutorial videos that will be posted each week to the OWL course site. This means you're going to be given some flexibility in when you want to watch the lectures or tutorials, but you will still need to keep up with course deadlines for assignments, quizzes, and so on. If this is your first time taking an online course here at Western, you may want to check out Western's Learning and Development and Success website, which I've linked to here in the slides. This site provides services and resources that might be helpful to you for developing your online learning skills, as well as your time management skills. So what is this course about? Well, the course description that you'd find in the course calendar talks a lot about the different accounting and management certificates this course might be helpful. For example, it can be used as part of the Certified Accountant or Certified General Accountant information technology requirement. It can also provide an introduction to Microsoft applications and software that are part of the Microsoft Office Specialist Certification exams. However, that doesn't really give us a great idea about what we'll be doing and what we'll be learning about. The content in this course is divided in between theory and practice. For theory, we're going to be learning and reading about information systems, businesses, and a few different case studies. In terms of practical skills, we're going to be working with Microsoft Access, Excel, XML, entity relationships diagrams, and SQL. For business-minded students, the idea of this course is to give you the knowledge and understanding of technology, in particular information systems, that will allow you to effectively and efficiently manage them in real life and empower you to make correct decisions regarding technology. For students that lean more to the science and technology side of things, this course will help you gain an understanding of basic business practices and how technology is used in business. Perhaps it might even guide you on your way to creating your own business or startup in the future. So before we get too far into this video, I should introduce myself. So that's me on the screen right now. My name is Daniel Servos. I'm an assistant professor and part of the teaching faculty here in the computer science department at Western, and I'm going to be your instructor for CS1032 this summer. If you ever need to get in contact with me at any time during the course, please feel free to email me at dservos5@uw.ca. You can also book virtual office hour appointments with me by using the link danielservos.ca/apt. Since this is an online course, these office hours will be offered through Zoom, so you would need to have a camera and the software installed to attend these office hours. Please note that my office hours tend to fill up around assignment due dates, so please get started on assignments as soon as possible so you'll have enough time to get help if you need it. I highly encourage you to email me if you run into any problems in the course or have any questions about the course content, but please keep some of the following in mind. First, I try my best to reply to all emails within 2 business days. So business days would be non-holiday Mondays to Fridays. Please keep this in mind when you're working on assignments, as I may not be able to reply in time if you email me only a few hours before the deadline. Second, please ensure you include the text CS1032 in the subject line of your email. This helps prevent your email from going to spam folder and lets me know which course this is regarding. Lastly, occasionally I'll send out announcements via OWL. This causes an email to be sent to everyone in the class. Please try not to reply directly to these announcement emails. Instead, if you have any questions about that announcement or anything else, please create a new email and address it to dservos5@uwo.ca. And make sure to include CS1032 in that subject line. This helps prevent any of your emails from being lost. There will be at least one teaching assistant assigned to this course, and they're going to be able to answer your questions via Zoom during their consulting hours, as well as via email. The TA's consulting hours will be drop-in, so there's no need to sign up for an appointment, and will be at the same set day and time every week. So this time and day will be posted to the OWL course site once it's available, and that's going to be on the TA Consulting tab. To take this course, there are a few hardware and software requirements. You will need a Windows-based PC that can run Microsoft Office Suite, which includes Microsoft Access. Unfortunately, Microsoft Access is only available for Windows, so if you're using an Apple computer or Mac OS, you will need to find a way to run Microsoft Access. We do have some methods you can use if you don't have a Windows computer, and we'll be getting to that in a few slides. You'll also need a webcam and a microphone. This is required to take the final exam, attend office hours or TA consulting, and may be required for a few activities we do in this course. It's fine if these are built into your laptop. Lastly, you'll also need a reliable internet connection, especially for quizzes and the final exam. For full details on these hardware requirements, please see the course syllabus. So in terms of software, you will need Microsoft Office 365, which I mentioned, including Microsoft Access. So this is free for all Western students. You just have to go to myoffice.uwo.ca and you can download that. We'll also need a plain text editor. For Windows, I recommend Notepad++, and we are also going to need the DIA diagram editor, an internet browser, and some way to properly back up your work. In terms of backing up your work, I recommend OneDrive. I believe that Western students already get a free space with their Western account. So both Notepad++ and the DIA diagram editor are also free, so there shouldn't be any software you have to pay for in this course. For the final exam, we will also be using ProctorTrack. So if you're running into any issues installing any of the software or had any questions about that, please make sure you first watch the tutorial video I have posted on OWL that will guide you through the installation of all of these different software packages. As I mentioned, some of this software is not available for Mac OS, that would be Apple computers. But we do have a few options for you if you do not have access to a Windows computer or cannot obtain access to one. First, if you're located in London, Ontario, you can use one of the general student labs here on campus called the Gen Labs. These have access and all the software required already installed on them. Second, if you are not located in London, we also have a way for you to connect remotely to a virtual lab computer from your Apple computer. This software is called MyLab, and I have a tutorial about it posted on the Week 1 page of OWL that will guide you through installing and how to use this software. Again, that's only for those of you on Apple computers. Those on Windows computers can just install the software normally. Next is our textbook. For this course, we have one required text named Experiencing MIS, 5th Canadian edition. This is an online e-textbook that comes with access to Pearson's MyLab MIS. You can purchase the e-text through the Western Bookstore by purchasing an access code, or you can purchase the e-text directly from Pearson using the above link and the course code shown here. Currently, the textbook is only available in a digital format, bundled with MyLab MIS, so you can't buy it separately, unfortunately. Each week, readings will be assigned from this textbook, as well as the MyLab MIS homework questions. This homework is ungraded and intended only for studying purposes, but it is still highly recommended. The lecture videos may not cover absolutely everything from the readings, so it is important that you both read the text and watch the lecture videos. If you're having any issues obtaining the e-textbook or getting access to MyLab MIS, I do have a short tutorial posted on OWL that goes through each of the steps needed to obtain access to it. There are two main course websites you're going to have to worry about in this course. The first is OWL. This is Western's learning management system that many of you are probably already familiar with. On this site, I'll be posting most of the course content, including slides, links to lecture videos, assignments, quizzes, and so on. You're required to regularly check the OWL course site. New pages will be posted each week on Monday, and this will show up as a new page on the OWL site, and it will have different tasks and activities you're required to complete for that week. So you're required to check the site each week and complete these tasks. Keep in mind that not all due dates or tasks are going to be announced via email, so it is important that you check the site regularly so you have an idea of what you need to accomplish that week. So now let's switch over and take a look at the OWL site and see how it's set up so you know how to access everything. Okay, here we are over on our OWL course site. Now, my view of the site might look a little bit different than yours, but generally it should look something like this. So right now we're looking at the overview page. This has some general information about the course and links, as well as my contact information. So if you're looking for my email, you can find it here, as well as that link to make appointments for office hours. There's also a link to the TA's information and some general resources you might find useful, or working on your studying skills and other things you might encounter at Western. Now, the Announcements tab is something you should keep an eye on. If I post an announcement to the whole class, it will go here. So make sure you keep up to date with the announcements posted here. Depending on your OWL settings, it may also send an email when I post an announcement here. Right now, we don't have any announcements, but by the time you're seeing this video, there should be at least one introducing the course to you and welcoming you. Next is the course syllabus. To click on this to get to the course syllabus and follow this link. And this should be a PDF that explains everything you need to know about the course. You are required to read this in full to make sure that you are familiar with all of the course policies. So one of the first things you should do is go to this course syllabus, look for all the due dates, and put those in your own personal calendar. Now, the main content of the course will be posted under course content each week. So each week, we're going to get a new subtab. Right now, we just have week 1, but next week on Monday, you'll have week 2, and so on. So one of the big things you have to do is every Monday, check out the course site, click on the current week's tab, and see what you have to do for that week. Each week is going to be set up similar to this. We'll have a basic list of goals for that week, and then it will have a list of tasks under weekly tasks. So for the first week, the tasks are reading the course syllabus, reading the discussion on academic dishonesty, introducing yourself on the course forums, installing the required software, and registering for MyLab MIS. That's the site where you'll get your textbook through. Each week, there'll also be a checklist. You can check off the tasks as you do them. I don't mark or grade this at all. This checklist is just for your own purposes, just to make sure you've done everything you need to do for that week and keep track of everything. Under homework, you'll see the assigned readings from your textbook for that week and any homework questions that I recommend you try from your textbook or the MyLab MIS site. Remember, these homework questions aren't graded, but they are important for studying purposes. Next, we'll have a list of all the video lectures. Clicking on these will take you to a YouTube video. And to get the slides for that lecture, you just click on Slides. So for example, if we want to take a look at Chapter 1, Why MIS, we click on that, and it's going to load us into YouTube. Now, I'm assuming most of you are pretty familiar with YouTube, but there are a few features that might be helpful in your studying. So first of all, each one of these videos is going to have a list of different chapters that will help you jump right to that point in the video if there is a certain topic you're looking for. So this is the Chapter 1 video. If we wanted to know more about the network effect, we could click on this link here, and it will jump us right to where it's talking about the network effect in the video. These chapters are also sometimes shown at the bottom, depending on what type of YouTube client you're using. Now, there are a few other useful features on YouTube. First one is the playback speed. So it might be a little bit silly for me to try to recommend to you playing back my videos on a higher speed, but there actually has been some research into this, and it's found that students watching videos like these video lectures on 2 times the speed actually still retain a lot of the same information as they would on normal speed. So playing it back on fast speed might be something you might want to do if you're already familiar with the subject, and then when you get to something you're less familiar with, you might want to slow it down to normal speed. So another useful feature here is the Show Transcript option, and this provides a transcript of everything said in the video. So this is created using Google's machine learning and AI tools to automatically create subtitles for videos, so it might not be 100% accurate, but it does give a good way to search for certain words or topics in the video, and clicking on one of these sentences does jump you right into the video of where that is said. So again, this can be another great tool for jumping to where you need to in the video. Okay, back to the OWL site. So if you wanted to see the lecture notes for that, you just click on Slides, and these will give you the same slides that I used in the videos. Now, I do recommend watching the videos and not just basing it on the slides, because a lot of times I give a little bit more information or expand on the text that's on the slides. So please make sure that you do watch the videos. Under Video Tutorials, we'll list more tutorial type videos. So these would be things like how you install the required software, how you obtain the e-textbook and register for MyLab MIS. And as we get more on in the course, they might be things like how you use Excel, Access, things like that. So these will be the more practical videos, while under video lectures, we'll have the more theory textbook material. There'll also always be a looking ahead section that will tell you what we'll be doing next week if you wanted to read ahead. So for example, next week you should be reading Knowledge Extension 4. So if you wanted to get a head start on that, you could look under looking ahead to see what you'll be reading next week. Then each week I'll also be posting supplementary readings. So these are completely optional, you don't have to read these, but if there's a certain topic you're interested in, these might provide a little more information and more context for that topic. Okay. Next is Video Table of Contents, or Video TOC. So I realize some of these videos are long, so to make them easier to deal with, every week I'll be updating this page, which breaks down every video, and it tells you different chapters you can jump to. So if there's a certain subject you're looking for in a video, you can go to this Video Table of Contents page, and then you can search for whatever word you're looking for, and it will jump you there. So for example, if we want something under course information, we could click this, and we'd see a list of different timestamps in that introduction video, for example. If we wanted to jump to one of those, we could click on Course Site, and it will jump us right in that introduction video to where I talk about the course site. So every week there will be more added to this, and it provides a great way to find something you're looking for in particular. Next is a link to MyLab MIS. This just takes you to the MyLab website. Remember, you have to register for your textbook. I cover that in another video, and that will tell you how to use this site. Next are the course forms, and these are the forms where you can post for participation points, as well as generally asking questions about assignments and other things. So if you're interested in how you can earn points for posting on the course forums, make sure you read the course syllabus as it details what is a meaningful post. Make sure that you do post in the correct form. When you see things like post required, that means you have to make a post before you can see posts by other students. In most cases, when we have a participation point activity, it will involve posting to these forums, and new topics will be added as they're needed for participation activities or as new assignments become available. Next, if you want to book office hours with me, you can click this link, Book Office Hours. And this will take you to my website, which allows you to make an office hour appointment. If you see two options like this, make sure you click the CS1032 one. They'll give you some different times and days you can make appointments for. There might be a different day each week, but there'll always be at least one day that week that I have office hours. You can click on a time you want. Fill in your first name and last name and your email, and click book. And then you'll be given that 20-minute slot for an online office hour. I'll follow up with a link for the Zoom information and also give you the opportunity to send me any files that might be relevant to your question. For example, if it was based on an assignment, you should send the files so I have those available during the office hour. Now, as we said, we also have TAs in this course, at least one. So if you click on TA Consulting, it will list the TA's information, their email, and once available, their Zoom information and the dates and times they'll be available. Unlike my office hours, you can drop in on these at any time for the TA. They should be available during the hour stated under that Zoom link. Next is assignments. As we post assignments, they'll show up here under the Assignments tab, and this is where you'll also be submitting your assignments. So when we talk about assignments, it is important that you check what you upload. So after you upload an assignment, make sure you download whatever you uploaded and double check that you submitted the right file. You won't be allowed to resubmit or get any special exceptions if you upload the wrong file, so make sure that you are uploading the correct file. You are allowed to resubmit, but keep in mind when you resubmit, it goes by the latest submission. So if you resubmit past the deadline, it would be late. Tests and quizzes is going to be where you take the tests and quizzes. So when there is a quiz in the course, it will show up under here, and I'll also announce it on that week's page on OWL. There may not necessarily be an announcement for every quiz, but I will definitely have them listed under the tasks for that week's page. Also, when you start the course, there will be a practice quiz here that you can try out just to get a little bit more familiar with how quizzes work. Finally, there is the gradebook. So right now, there's not going to be much in there for you, but as we start doing assignments, things like that, items will start appearing in the gradebook to let you know what your mark was on that assignment. TAs will attach an Excel sheet to every assignment submission that you can get under assignments, and that will give you feedback on what was done wrong, what was done right in your assignment. Okay, and lastly, if you need any help with OWL or having any technical issues, you can always click this help button, and that will take you to the manual for how to use OWL as well as how to get support. So if you do need support with OWL, you're having issues logging in or anything like that, please go to Western Technology Services, wgs.uwo.ca, and they have hours where they can help you live, or you can always put it in a ticket at any time to help you out with using OWL and any of the services here at Western. So that's all I have for you for this course site, so we're going to switch back to the slides now and keep talking about the course. Okay, now we're back to the slides. The second site you're going to have to worry about is MyLab MIS, which comes with your e-textbook. I have a separate video on how to use this site and some of the studying tools it has. For the most part, we'll only be using this site to access your e-textbook, complete ungraded homework, and for studying. I have it listed here as optional, as nothing on it is graded, but you are expected to have access to it so you can complete the weekly readings. So you may be wondering, how much time is this course going to take up each week? So I'm going to try to give a bit of a breakdown to give you a bit of an idea of what kind of time commitment this course is going to be. Each week is going to have about 3 hours of lectures or tutorial videos on average. This is a bit of a high estimate, as most weeks will have closer to 2 hours, but you should plan for 3 hours of video watching. Each week is going to have about 1 to 2 textbook chapters that are going to be assigned, as well as homework problems from these chapters. While this homework is ungraded, I still recommend planning to spend at least 1 or 2 hours each week on the readings as well as the homework. There'll be 5 assignments in the course, which amounts to about 1 every other week, a little bit less than that. And lastly, we will have 3 online quizzes during the term, and of course a final exam in the summer exam period. Now, what you're probably really interested in is how this will all be graded. The 5 assignments will be worth 35% in total, the 3 online quizzes 15%, or 5% each, online participation is going to be 10%, and the final exam is going to be worth 40%. We'll get into what each of these entail in a few slides. Keep in mind there is an important rule about the final exam in the course syllabus. You must get a final exam grade of 40% or higher to pass this course. If you get less than 40% on the final exam, the maximum grade you can obtain in this course is 44%, which is a failing grade. Okay, on to assignments. There will be 5 assignments in this course, and I have the tentative schedule for each assignment posted here. Each will be worth 7% of your final grade, 35% in total between all 5 assignments. And these assignments will mainly cover the practical side of the topics covered in the course, such as Excel, XML, or SQL. Each assignment will also have a set of theory questions about a hypothetical business that will follow you through each of these assignments in the course. So I do use a bit of a different late system that you may have not experienced before at Western, but the way this will work is that everyone is going to be given 4 late coupons for the whole term, and only 4 late coupons. Once they are used, they are gone. You can't get any more. Each late coupon allows you to push the due date of an assignment back 24 hours. So for example, if an assignment was due on June 8th at 11:55 p.m., and you use 1 late coupon, the new due date would be June 9th at 11:55 p.m., so 1 day, 24 hours. If you use 2 late coupons, then the new due date would be June 10th at 11:55 p.m., and so on. There is a catch, however. You can use at most 3 late coupons per assignment, no more than that. And if you run out of late coupons and submit late, or your assignment is more than 3 days late, you simply get a 0 on that assignment. So to summarize, if you're going to be submitting late, you have to have a late coupon, at least 1 late coupon per 24 hours late it is, as well as you can't use more than 3 late coupons per assignment. Keep in mind, these late coupons can only be used on assignments. Can't use them on quizzes, participation activities, or anything like that. Has to be on assignments. There's no need to tell us when you're using a late coupon. They'll be applied automatically by the TA. If you submit 1 day late, they'll remove 1 late coupon. If you submit 2 days late, they'll remove 2 late coupons, and so on, assuming you have enough late coupons remaining. We will keep a record of your late coupons in the gradebook on OWL, but keep in mind that these are not updated live, so it's your responsibility to double check that you have enough late coupons before submitting late. Don't just blindly follow what's on OWL under gradebook. Make sure that you're keeping track yourself of how many late coupons you've used. The last thing to mention about assignments is what happens if you disagree with or had questions about the marking of your assignment once you get it back. If you get your mark and feedback back for an assignment and have questions, please first contact the TA who marked the assignment. If that discussion with the TA was not satisfactory to you, you can then direct your questions or concerns to me. Any requests for mark adjustments or regrading must be sent within a week of receiving your assignment mark back and must come with a reason you think the assignment was marked incorrectly. You can't just say, I want it regraded. You have to say why you think the TA marked it incorrectly. After a week, after you get the mark back, the grade will be final and no mark adjustments will be allowed. Next up are the quizzes. There's going to be 3 online quizzes done during the course, and their tentative schedule is shown on the screen right now. Each quiz will be worth 5% of your final grade, and will cover both theory and practical content covered in the course up until that point. You have 5 days to complete each quiz after it's posted, but they must be submitted by the deadline to count for a grade. These quizzes will be multiple choice and other auto-graded question types, such as fill in the blank or matching questions. As the goal here is to encourage you to do the readings and study for the final exam, you will be allowed to redo each quiz at most once. The highest grade will be recorded, but keep in mind the quiz questions may change each attempt. This is also how we're going to handle any technical issues with quizzes, so if you have a technical issue, you have to use your second retry on that. Lastly, keep in mind that quizzes are open book, but must be done individually. You cannot do the quiz with anyone else in the room with you, and you can't be communicating with anyone else, virtually or any other way. This also includes any AI systems or language models. You can't use these on the quizzes or the assignments. All of those have to be done individually. The next component of your final grade is participation. And you might be wondering why we're doing participation in an online computer science course. Well, there's been a lot of research into different teaching styles and techniques in computer science education. And there's evidence that shows that active learning like this benefits students even in computer science courses. I have a few citations here if you're interested, but this kind of collaboration is also important in the real world. Once you get out of university, you'll be expected to work with others on complex problems and communicate effectively with them as a team. To make sure you're successful, not just in this course, but in your future endeavors, I want to give you the opportunity to practice these sort of soft skills before you get out into the real world. So how will this work? Each week, one or more of the video lectures or tutorials will contain a task somewhere in that video that contains a particular task to complete. In most cases, this will take the form of a forum post or a response you'll have to complete. These tasks will be clearly indicated in the video with a point value and will look something like this. They'll always be in a box like this with a number of points given. The idea here is that you'll have to watch the videos to find the task and then answer it either on the course forums or with whatever instructions are provided. Not all videos will have tasks, but there will be at least 150 points worth of participation tasks each week. So you know if you haven't got 150 points worth yet, you're probably still missing some tasks. You'll have 2 weeks to complete each participation activity, except for the last participation activity in week 12, which will need to be completed by the last day of the course. So how will this participation be graded? Each participation activity will have a set number of points assigned, and you'll get the full points for that task if you follow the instructions and clearly put some effort into it. You do not have to be correct to get the full points, but you do need to show that you put some thought and effort into your response. Extra points on top of these activities can be earned by posting meaningful contributions on the course forums, such as answering questions posed by other students, posting questions that haven't been asked before and not clearly answered already in course material, or posting new resources or tutorials related to the practical side of the course content. Please read the course syllabus for details on what counts for points and what is considered to be a meaningful contribution. Keep in mind that spamming the forums with low-quality posts does not add up to one meaningful contribution, and that the timeliness of your post matters. Answering another student's questions months after it's been asked, and the assignment was already due, is not really helpful to that student, nor is making all your posts on the last day before participation is due. So what we expect to see is posts made throughout the term and close to when they're relevant, when that topic is being covered in the course. So the number of participation points you have at the end of the course will determine your participation grade. Here we can see a table of how participation points will be translated into your final participation grade. This works like experience points in an RPG video game, if you're familiar with those. To go up a level or a grade point, you need to get your participation points above the minimum required amount. So for example, to attain a level 4 worth 4% of your final grade, you will need to have 1,000 participation points or more. If you only have 999 points, that's still a level 3. You must make it over the minimum for the next level to count for your final grade. So one thing I should point out is this scale here isn't linear. It gets a little bit harder as you get towards the 10%. But to get at least a 7% or a level 7, all you would need to do is to complete all of those weekly participation activities. They should add up to at least 150 points per week. So to attain a perfect grade, a level 10, you would also need to make contributions to the course forums to get your points above 2,000. So again, please see the course syllabus for details on what types of forum posts count for points, and you would need to do that on top of those weekly activities. Now, if you manage to get over 2,300 points, a small bonus will be applied to your final grade that is not more than 2%. The exact amount of the bonus will be determined based on how many points you get above 2,300. Keep in mind, your final grade for the course can't be over 100%. Fortunately, it's not possible to track these points live, as many of these activities are going to be required to have manual marking, but I will try to post an estimate of your current participation points about halfway through the course. And then a final calculation will be done at the end of the course that will determine your final grade. So the last major component of the course is the final exam. The exam will be held online during the summer final exam period. This date and time is set by the registrar's office and not myself, so I do not currently know what it will be, so please check the exam schedule once we get closer to the final exam period. The final exam will use OWL and ProctorTrack. This means you are required to have a webcam, a microphone, and a reliable internet connection to take the final exam. These can be built into your laptop computer, or they could be separate devices, and you can take this exam on Windows or Mac OS. Both should work fine with ProctorTrack. The exact format of the final exam will be posted closer to the final exam date, but you should expect a multiple choice and auto-graded type questions, such as matching, fill in the blank, and so on. You should also expect for this exam to be closed book and to be about 3 hours in length, but once again, the exact format will be posted closer to the final exam date. Another important thing to cover is how to get help in this course. If you're stuck on any assignments or anything like that, I recommend you follow these steps in this order, as it will get you your answer the fastest way possible. So step 1 would be checking the course content, notes, syllabus, readings, tutorial videos, etc. The textbook is searchable, and I will be updating the video table of contents each week to make it easy to find where something is covered in a given video lecture. So number 2, take a look at the course forums on OWL. Maybe someone has already asked your question, and there's already an answer there. Step 3, try Google or the Microsoft Office documentation for Excel or Microsoft Access. Usually, if you have a question about a formula or a certain function in Microsoft Access and Excel, the Microsoft Office documentation usually does a great job of explaining that formula, that function, that feature, as well as even has video guides on it sometimes. So that is definitely a good spot to try. Next, if all that fails, and you still can't find an answer, post a question on the OWL course forums, but do make sure that you check if anyone else has already asked that question first. This is a great idea because it can also earn you participation points, if it's a good question and it hasn't been asked before. So even if you don't get an answer right away, posting on those course forums will at least help your participation grade. Next, step 5 is to email the TA or go to TA consulting hours. Remember, there's no need for an appointment with the TA, and TA consulting hours work as drop-in. So number 6 would be to email me, the course instructor. I try to respond within 2 business days, so make sure that you budget enough time to ask your questions before any assignment due dates. The last step, step 7, is to make an office hour appointment with me using danielservos.ca/apt. Keep in mind, appointments should be made 24 hours in advance, and there is normally only 1 day a week that I hold office hours. So please try to manage your time and start assignments early if you think you're going to need that kind of one-on-one support, just to make sure there's enough time between the appointment and your assignment due date that you can complete the assignment. The last topic we need to cover is academic dishonesty. It is expected that everyone in the course reads and understands the discussion on academic dishonesty document posted to the Week 1 page on OWL, as well as reads the course syllabus in full. All assignments, quizzes, and the final exam are to be done independently. Sharing your work, even if it is incomplete or just a template with another student, is an academic offense, as it is using another student's work, or sharing your work with another student. At no point should you send your assignment or any part of your assignment to another student or post them online. Doing this, or using that, would be an academic offense. Tutors and any other person cannot help you with assignments and cannot give you a template or any sort of starting point or aid to use on an assignment. You're also not allowed to use any kind of AI or language model system to aid with assignments, quizzes, or the final exam. All work is going to be submitted to automatic plagiarism detection software that checks both the content, the metadata, and the logic of submissions. Any students violating this policy will be given a 0 on that assignment, and they will be reported to the dean's office, which may apply further penalties. I don't want that to happen to any of you, so please make sure that you're never sending your work to anyone else and you're not using any resources online that would be inappropriate. If you have any questions about that, please check out that discussion on academic dishonesty. And if you're still unclear, send me an email and I can clarify. If you have any doubt at all about whether something is allowed, you always should ask. Don't just assume. Okay, so now that you know the rules and policies, how do you get started with CS1032? Well, the tasks for the first week are to read the course syllabus and the discussion on academic dishonesty posted on OWL. Next, get set up with your eText and MyLab MIS so you can read the first chapter of your textbook, Chapter 1, and try some of the MyLab MIS homework for Chapter 1. Also make sure that you have all the required software for this course installed. As I mentioned, I have a short tutorial on this, and you can find that on OWL that will guide you through the installation process. I highly recommend trying to get that software installed now, so we can help you with any issues that you might have before an assignment is due. You don't want to wait to the last moment to be trying to install the software you need for an assignment. Lastly, make sure that you watch the lecture videos for this week on Introduction to Business and Chapter 1. One of these videos will include a participation task for week 1, so it is important that you watch it. So speaking of those participation tasks, let's give some now so that you have an idea of what they're going to look like when they pop up in a video. So your first participation task will be to introduce yourself on the course forums. Please make a post in the student introduction topic and say who you are, where you are from, or at least where you're taking the course from, what program you're in, and why you're taking CS1032. Also include at least one interesting fact about yourself. The next activity is to take the practice quiz on OWL under the Quizzes tab. This quiz just has a few questions about the course syllabus, and you get the 50 points simply for taking the quiz. It doesn't matter what score you get on the quiz, as long as you complete it and you have at least non-zero score to know that you actually push some of the buttons. This practice quiz is meant to give you an idea of what the format and process is going to be for taking quizzes on OWL, as we are going to have 3 real quizzes eventually in the course. So keep in mind the real quizzes will have questions about what the course content is and not be based on what is in the course syllabus. Lastly, there is one task in the Chapter 1 lecture video. Make sure you watch the Chapter 1 video, find the task, and post your answer on the course forums. Instructions will be given in the Chapter 1 video as to what you have to do and where you have to post it. Whenever a participation task is given in a video, it will look just like these boxes that we have on the screen right now, and it will always have a number of participation points given. Keep in mind that I might ask you other questions in videos just for you to follow along with what I'm talking about, but they're only participation activities and only count for participation points if it's in a box like this, and I say to do something for participation points. So that's all I have for you in this video. Make sure you also watch the Introduction to Business and Chapter 1 videos this week and complete the tasks listed on the Week 1 page on OWL, especially getting that software installed. If you run into any problems installing that software, feel free to send an email or even better post on the course forums so you can get some participation points. Thank you for watching and have a great day.